I think we're ready, yeah.
People used to bring sandwiches and now people is so annoyed by people eating in the cinema. And I remember Cinema Paradiso, and it's like, come on, this is...
Yeah, it's part of the culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us here at MIP. So I have a couple of questions. Where did your career begin? Go back to the very, very start. At what point did you know that film and TV was the industry for you?
I remember the first time I went to the cinema, I was 3 years old, and I watched the first Superman, the Richard Donner movie. And I was so shocked about seeing a man flying in a giant screen, surrounded by hundreds of people. It was one of those old cinemas with 1,000 seats. And I went back home, and I took a paper, and I drew one of those, one of the most memorable scenes in the movies, when Superman lays down in the broken tracks of the train, and the train passes by on top of him. And I took a paper, and I draw on one side the broken tracks with the train passing by, and on the other side of the paper I draw Superman. And I put that paper in front of a lamp, and I started to turn the light on and off, clack, 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 clack. And by doing so, I was watching Superman appearing and disappearing. But I was like three years old. So when I look back at that moment, I think I was already trying to shoot a film without a camera. So you can see that I had a calling for cinema. It was my vocation since I was a kid.
I mean, no wonder you've been able to create so many beautiful films if you started at 3 years old. That's incredible. I mean,
First sight.
First sight. Along the way, you must have had some mentors or some influence. So is there a particular movie or film you watched, or a person who's really influenced you on your journey?
Yeah, I had several mentors. When I was a kid, my father was a huge cinephile. So I remember watching movies nonstop at home with my father. And my father used to paint the giant paintings in the cinemas, in the old cinemas. They used to have these huge paintings with the posters of the cinemas. And my father used to work doing that. So cinema was, in general, arts was everywhere at home. So, and then I went to film school. I remember there was a school teacher there, a professor that I learned so much from him. I'm still in contact with him. And then probably my first professional mentor was Guillermo del Toro. I met him before shooting The Orphanage, and he became kind of like the person who made that film possible.
So your work behind the camera, though, of course, you are very well known for so many different things. What is that drive? What is that spark that you love so much about what you do?
I really like to be on set. It's a very creative moment. I really like to prepare a lot of film. I always do my homework. But then when you are on set with your actors in front of the camera, it feels such a powerful moment. I always think that the worst moment on a shoot is the moment that you wake up and you have your whole day ahead of you. But then it's true that at the end of the day, you have the impression that the day lasts for 10 minutes. So it's something that I really enjoy, even though sometimes it's hard, it's what I love.
I feel like when you work on films or TV, whatever it might be, when you've worked on it for so long, at the very end, it's like everyone's a big family. And when you do the final scene and it's okay, cut, done, everyone's so emotional. It's so sad. I get so upset every time we come to the end of a season.
And you use it as a director. You know that that final day is going to be a very emotional day. So when you do the schedule, when you're doing the shooting schedule, you normally try to put a sequence that will get the benefit of being the last scene in the film.
That's so smart. I'd never thought about that. That's why we always do the emotional scenes at the very end.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
It's on the air, so
Who would have
you
thought?
use it.
Okay, tell me about the new and exciting projects that you have coming up then. What are you excited about right now?
So I'm working right now at the moment in a film. I still don't know if it's going to be my next movie, but it's based upon a very famous book on the Spanish Civil War. It's an epic. I love it. I think it's going to be a great film. And I'm working in the script right now, but I still don't know if that's going to be my next film.
Always spinning many plates. I think that's the beauty of it. Some ideas here, some ideas here. You never know which one you're going to want to work on next.
Yeah, you really need to feel a very special connection to the material. You really need to find what gives you the authority of you being the director, you know? So when I work in a film, I really need to have the impression that I am the one who can do that. Guillermo del Toro used to say, you should be the one to do that. Make sure that it's your film and not somewhere else's film.
The emotional touch.
Exactly.
I love that. We have so many remarkable people like yourself who have worked in Spain and then progressed and gone out and like changed the world with the work that they've done. And how important is Spanish culture to the TV and film industry?
Well, we are very lucky that we belong to a country that has such a rich culture background, you know. I remember when I was a kid, I was surrounded all the time by very famous Spanish painters because my father was a painter and I was drawing all the time Picassos and things like that, you know. So you can tell how rich is the Spanish culture. We all are very different, all the directors. So I'm very different from Amenábar or Almodóvar or Buñuel. You know, you can find a very rich kind of like big picture of what the Spanish filmmakers are. But you can find that there is an attitude, there is a passion for what we do. You know, there is this idea of how we like the kind of the extraordinary, you know, when you feel about Buñuel, the surrealism, you know, and even though I've been working in some real stories, those real stories deal with this moment where your life becomes something extraordinary. Your life goes upside down in a way that it can feel like a fantasy, you know. The Impossible or Society of the Snow felt a little bit like a horror film in some of their aspects, you know. So as a filmmaker, I like to deal with that moment where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and I think that has to do a lot with the Spanish culture.
I have one more question for you. I work a lot with people from underrepresented communities, many of whom really want to get into film, they want to get into TV, but they feel like because they don't see people who look like them, who are like them, they feel like it's never for them. If there's someone who's watching who thinks, God, I really want to be a director, but I don't know if I have the confidence, what is your advice to them?
If you feel the passion, if you feel that cinema is your vocation, you should fight for it. If it's really your passion, you don't need my advice. You will go for it. And you need to hear that call. You need to feel that. If you feel it, if it's your thing and you enjoy it, you like it, you go for it.
Love that. Become an unstoppable force of nature.
Exactly,
and just go for it.
Don't let anyone to stop you.
Love this. Well, incredibly wise words from an incredibly creative man who has been taking over the TV and film industry for years, and I can't wait to see what you bring to us next. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your MIP experience.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.